Hello, my name is Jennifer Benson, and I am running as a candidate in District 41 for the House of Representatives. I was raised on the north side of Fargo. I graduated from Fargo North High. I crossed the river over into Moorhead to earn my degree over at Moorhead State University. And then after that, my career was spent 23 years in the pharmaceutical industry, all within mental health. All of these things I share because it really prepared me for where we are today. I served on the Fargo School Board for 8 years. And so along with my background and the things that I just shared, now today I am the executive director of a nonprofit policy organization. And so through all of these, I think the link and the connection has really been community service, but also education and advocacy. And so, and that's what I get to do every single day at my current job. And that's where my passion lies. And so I see this position as serving as a representative of yours is really an extension of those efforts. So what really prepared me for this position? You know, I think that this position requires really someone that will listen and collaborate and someone that will lead with integrity. And as I mentioned before, I served on the Fargo School Board, so I've served in an elected position, and I take the oath of office very seriously. And I think that I can stand on my record on this one and say, you know, I try to demonstrate those things and really listen to the constituents who elected me to be there, to be a voice. And I also think that my background in mental health has certainly helped prepare me for this journey. And I've had opportunities to work across party lines, and I've demonstrated that I will do that work to build those relationships and those bridges necessary to really advocate and be invested in solutions that work for the people of North Dakota. My priorities really reflect what I've heard from residents of 41 and even really of residents across the state of North Dakota, and that is affordability, continued property tax relief specifically, and safety, community safety. That is, you know, that is something that in North Dakota we have had the luxury, right, of really having that, and over the past couple of years, now we hear more and more crime and safety is a growing concern. So certainly that is a priority. I would say workforce development is also something that is talked about quite frequently. And so it's finding and keeping staff. Microsoft is included in our district here, and certainly that is something, you know, that we hear from businesses of all sizes. And so that's something we need to work diligently on. I would say, you know, we need to continue to focus on being a business-friendly environment. And what does that mean? That means keeping our taxes low and our regulation burdens low too, right? This is a state we want people to come to live in, to invest in. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that in the past, and we want to continue to make that a friendly environment moving forward. I would also say education opportunities is certainly something that I hear from parents. We want, you know, we need to recognize, and as a former school board member, we understand and we promote the idea that every one of us is a unique learner. And so to continue that conversation and advocate for policies that support those unique environments, I think is extremely important. The first thing that comes to mind really is spending. If we look at our budget and how, you know, we've had the luxury of we don't have necessarily a revenue problem in the state of North Dakota, right? We have a spending problem. And if we compare ourselves to states like South Dakota, whose population is larger, we spend on average, I think it was $2.5 billion more. We can't continue this giant climb in spending. And so we do need to do things that will rein in that spending. And that doesn't necessarily, you know, sometimes that can be fearful for people, right? Well, okay, I think the best way to do that really is to effectively place measurements on the things that we are deploying monies on, just like we do in our own our own budgets in our own homes. The state needs to really say, okay, what was our ROI on this, distribution of money, and then really be transparent and accountable. Are we getting what was intended from that initiative? And so I think that's really important, and that's one way to do it. But I think opportunity, like I had mentioned earlier, if we can rein in the spending, we can keep our taxes low, our regulations in check, businesses will want to continue to come here. And North Dakota, again, is a great place to work and to live and to raise a family. And so we just need to make sure that our policies allow that to happen. If you asked me to describe my efforts in just a very short phrase or one sentence or just a few words, I would say policy over personality. And I really work to demonstrate that. And how do I do that? It's because what is good policy? You will have to, that requires you to work with a diverse group of people. And so I think that my efforts and my past experiences, both in the private sector and then in the public arena, have demonstrated that I have worked across political lines. And so I will continue those efforts moving forward. It will be about what is good for North Dakota.